Hello, I'm John Joe. Welcome to Line War. Today we have a battle between Atfinity and Evilobster. Atfinity is starting right in the middle, whereas Evilobster, I can't see the red when it highlights it. He is over here. We have no fog, all commands, and he's gone for a 2 towns straight away, and he's going into a lot of navy by the looks of things. Whereas Atfinity has crossed the lake here, or the canal, I think. And we got a town coming out from him. 2 towns. It's a trade route from the get-go. And to be fair, there's a lot of eco here. We've got another trade route from that one to this one, I think. It's a bit hard to tell, to be honest. And then 2 barracks on the ground. So, Evilobster's going for a factory, so that will help against the units on the ground. But there's going to be a bit of an eco game, I think, for the moment. And I think we're going for the navy because he assumed that we're going to get these, maybe. I probably wouldn't have done that, but he's probably thinking much further ahead than I am. So he's getting the energy well, which would be great, because that should be relatively secure. And he's probably going to get like these territories along the way. Just sneezing away, and I just had to turn the mic off for a second, sorry. So we've got Evilobster coming in through this way. I think they're about to notice each other, especially when this one gets taken and they move forward. Looks like Atfinity was first on that one. He's getting another town set up with probably another docks coming out very soon. I think he thinks that because Evilobster's on here, they're going to have no need for the navy units. I mean, not necessarily that they wouldn't have them, but they're just no necessary need. And he's going for missile ships to start with, pretty much solely actually. I'm assuming that's just in case air units are used. The first engagement has occurred, and Atfinity's infantry is trying to get straight into the battle with Evilobster, but these units are just going to go down. They've dug in pretty quick, and they're getting some reinforcements in soon as well. But Atfinity's got 3 barracks now compared to Evilobster's 2 factories that's nearly produced, and 1 factory up here. We've got a bit more economy coming out from Evilobster as well. But that is going to be nothing compared to 3 trade routes potentially. And the trade route's already set up. We got some going. And now Atfinity is getting some industry and a naval yard. Just having a look around, seeing what else is here. I think Evilobster's just run out of energy. The energy well's just been built, or about to be finished building. On the front lines over here, Evilobster is surrounding Atfinity's units. But Atfinity is still pushing through across the top section of this island. And we've got some artillery pushing in. We've got some SAM sites there. But I don't think they're going for any air units. But it's definitely good to have some, especially in the early game, if you get surprised by air units. They can become overwhelming pretty quickly. Now we have a reverse effect going on here where Atfinity has the defense and the infantry are just pressing up against it. But the artillery are going to be the main ones here because they can hit the defense without actually having to get too close. But we did just lose a lot of infantry for Evilobster against Atfinity on this black line. Pretty much allowing most of the infantry here to push in through. Just trying to keep an eye on the navy, what's going on over there. I would like to just quickly look at the economy, considering what's going on. We've got 580 for Evilobster, and Atfinity is already on 800. That's quite a lot this early in the game. The dock's being set up, so we're going to have a trade route again very soon. I wonder if, because there's quite a few lines coming through here, if you have all the territories set up, if they're just going to get stuck. It would be interesting to see. Evilobster is forcibly on the defense. His infantry probably can't get through this right now, but they can probably spread out a bit more. The good thing about infantry is they outnumber the opponent, so you're going to be able to spread across and hit multiple sides at the same time. You can only really defend in one location. If you had these units come down here, they'd have to revert down in that direction. And then you can sort of split your army into 2 groups and keep some here and then send some down this way. Which is exactly what Atfinity is doing, I think, sending the rest of his units in this way. He's got some units in the forest over here. Another barracks is being produced, and we've got more factories coming out from Evilobster. I can imagine that Atfinity has the ability to push in with more structures, which is what they're doing. But the Navy has come in and taken away the trade routes there, denying Atfinity that economy, which must have shut them down quite a bit. But it doesn't look like much income has actually changed. It's still 850. However, there isn't much he can do to defend. So the Navy Yard's going to go down probably. To be fair, that's a cruiser, and I'm not sure how well the missile ships are going to be able to take on that cruiser. They should be okay with it, to be honest. There's quite a few missile ships in one place there. And there's commandos on this island. I didn't notice that. So Atfinity does have another place to run to if needed. And have some economy. And it looks like that Navy Yard's going down pretty quick. After that, I can imagine those towns are going to be the next targets. As for Evilobster, he's got quite a few units pushing in from this section, but if these guys are coming this way, they might actually be able to get to the town. I don't know if they're going to be able to take it out, though. He's stopped production on these Navy Yards, unless it's a visual glitch. I have noticed that happen a few times. But I assume he doesn't feel like he needs any more, so he's not going to waste too much economy on it, and he needs to focus a lot on the ground forces. Atfinity is putting a lot of pressure on the ground, surrounding this section here, getting a group to the side. At least they're managing to get up some defences to allow some extra damage to be taken. It's really hard to use defences actively against artillery, unless your defences solely hold the artillery. And we've got another group of units coming in through this section. We've got a forest, and they're building on the front lines here. This is a pretty aggressive move from Atfinity, but fairly safe from the ocean over here. That industry might end up going down. There's quite a few units in the area, not a lot to defend with. I'm pretty sure that's gone. And they're going to force the units out of the defences by sending them straight to the town. It's not like the reinforcements from this side can actually get there because they are defending from this. So 900 for Atfinity now and 690. Evilobster's doing a good job at actually trying to manage their income and still increase it. They do have a lot of towns and cities available. They just don't have the ability to construct everything while defending it at the same time. We have lost an industry up here now. The town is under some serious threat. And what is Atfinity doing? They're not able to actually keep hold of much on the coastal areas. Most of their towns in their control are literally on the edge of that coast. Small groups of artillery are holding them off, but to be fair, they're destroying each other so fast they aren't able to build up a large enough army. But Atfinity does seem to be able to produce a lot more so far, pretty much because of the economy and because they don't have a navy to worry about anymore. And they're just scouting the coast, coming in for that industry over there. Evilobster has lost the town, and we've got some units moving in slowly, capturing the territory as they go. Evilobster feels like he's been backed into a corner here. And instead, these units are going to literally just come up, join forces over here, and potentially take out a few of these barracks. But at the same time, these units are going to be able to reinforce this way and cut off those reinforcements coming in from here. Depends on what he wants to do. He's going to come in from behind, actually. He's going to keep to a defensive play. Air units are coming out, and I don't think we see any SAM units here, so those air units might actually surprise Evilobster. The Navy units have changed their direction. They're just capturing the territories. They're going to miss this industry as well for that. Okay, so we're back, and we have the defences slowly being broken through. There's quite a few artillery in that section over there, and these reinforcements are breaking off towards this way just in time to catch these commandos as they're trying to sneak off and try and maybe wreak havoc in the back of the base. It looks like Atfinity wants to retreat and set up a defensive line around the forest. It might have been better to just pull it in the forest, but I think he wants to show a force here. Bit of intimidation there. They did find the industry over here actually, so some of those broke off and tried to take on that. Some of the infantry are there. And I've just spotted this. We have a navy yard just here in the forest hidden away, trying to block off this section here so that way they can build a navy and actually use it to fight back later. Unfortunately for Evilobster, it looks like he's going to get pushed back again, even on this side now. And Atfinity is setting up one large defense force over in this section, which is causing Evilobster to do the exact same, set up a whole line of defenses there. But over the mountain is where Atfinity wants to attack from. The commandos are literally walking right into this, completely unknowing unknown to that, I think, what was happening there. And the helicopter's actually going to be able to support in this location as well. So luckily for Evilobster, he was able to get that in just in time, and those helicopters are coming in to save the day. It would have been better if he could have left it a little longer, but unfortunately the situation just wouldn't allow it. And now technically both players still have access to this northern one. Both could try and send some units across. It looks like Evilobster's the only one doing it. It would be harder for Atfinity to defend it. And it looks like Evilobster's trying to spread out across that section now. I'm just checking out about the status of the rest of the map. We have a town being built there, but Atfinity is not willing to risk any near the coast. And we've got the Navy still being used as sort of scouts. It looks like the Navy went this way, so some of those missile ships have gone missing for Evilobster. I don't know if he's noticed that yet. Evilobster must be a bit concerned about this right now, especially with this massive line of defense for Atfinity, which is double layered, and Evilobster is struggling to fill it in even as a single layer. On the other hand, most of these are filled in with infantry, whereas Evilobster's defense is only artillery. So there is that to think about as well. But Evilobster is struggling on energy. I think they've got one down here and another one's being built, so they are trying to work on that. And they're getting another one over here, but I wouldn't put anything there. I think that cruiser could probably hit it. SAM are being called in over on this section. Atfinity has responded to the air units. And this side will soon be protected by all the SAM that's needed. They got on bomb both sections. I think down here is most important right now. But the helicopters will switch very quickly. Evilobster will probably respond to that fairly soon. And might switch the helicopter somewhere else. Just trying to check out what else is going on. It looks like all of the map has pretty much been conquered at this point, apart from some behind Evilobster. And at this point, we're at a bit of a stalemate. We'll have a look. We've got 900 from Evilobster and 1,300 from Atfinity. So there is quite a big economy gap here. And Atfinity does have a lot of air units they are allowing to build up. And it would be good, because they've got like 5 helicopters here already. It's all completely placed. Just set them off down here so it can continue to produce more. Atfinity is struggling a little bit when it comes to energy. But they do have their navy on the move right now, and they are sending them across. Evilobster has noticed this grouping of navy units and is responding with, by the looks of it, cruisers maybe? Can't tell quite how big they are. They might be a bit smaller for those. They might be destroyers. Helicopters are pushing through and they've encountered the SAM units, and unfortunately Evilobster pretty much loses half of the helicopters that he had there. Now controlling the ocean though, we might be able to get this trade route set back up for Atfinity. And those units are coming over. It looks like they're actually going towards that boat. I'm not sure. That is the old boat command. I think they're just grabbing territory and the boat's just there. I am looking at this and it surprises me that Evilobster forgets about the SAM unit at this point in the game. Normally I'm saying they overinvest. I do criticise how much they invest in SAM quite often, I'll be honest. But I think most people make this mistake at some point and keep doing it sometimes, like me. Just get too carried away on one thing. We've taken away the defense on this section and these guys are pushing through over here once again. I think they're hoping to just break through and take out those SAMs, allowing the helicopters to try and build up. Actually, he's changed out of helicopters. He's going for the bombers. I think he plans to try and swing around or maybe use them to defend against the sea. And it'll be hard to use the helicopters against them as well because, well, they were cruisers as well. Because the missile ships are in the sea, so it's hard to decide what to do there. Cruisers coming in at just the right time though, making that a bit easier. And the other airfield's done, so we're going to have about 10 helicopters once that's complete to surprise attack Evilobster. The town's under construction up in the north there. And we're getting another navy yard on this edge here. More reinforcements are coming in. We also have another navy yard coming in just here for Evilobster. And quite a few commandos are attached to that. I believe that's going to be producing transport boats just to get in there. Sea units are coming in onto the corner of this defence just to help out the artillery here. But I think Evilobster now has most of the territories, just this one left over to grab on this side. And this one, I don't know if he's noticed that. 2 here. The artillery is still trying to pummel in through this section. Most of it's still infantry, so the majority of these will actually just be free damage. Just checking out what's happening with the Navy. The boat plans to go across this way, straight past the Navy Yard, and is coming straight into that energy well. On the other hand, we also have another section which is moving it in all the way over onto this side. There's quite a few units there, but if that boat can transport enough units across, it might be good to just get them onto this island first and then be speed transferring them. The Navy is lining up to attack. I think he's noticed these units popping in. And it would be a 6 versus... I can't count. Or 7. But most of Evilobsters are cruisers, and it's about 50-50 with these guys on the cruisers, and a lot of them going down pretty quickly. We've got some more coming in by the looks of it. And we still have those bombers being produced, so they could surprise somewhere else. I think they're going to plan to go in straight into this section. There we go, they're coming in now. Straight over the top of this Navy that's just been lost. Helicopters are in the ocean, just about to fly out to take on these cruisers, which is a very good move because they don't have good anti-air, but they've just took off, missed the cruisers and shot down one of their bombers. I wasn't even sure in a previous match whether helicopters could actually take on bombers, because I know it's meant to be specifically anti-air missiles, but helicopters can take out those bombers there. One town goes down, so even if you do lose those cruisers, at least they managed to get something going for it. And wait, the energy well's gone. The the commandos, I mean, managed to get in there. They went past this actual Navy yard here and just got through and took out that energy well. So those helicopters are down. They're not going to be able to get out of that. If you get these cruisers in, you might actually be able to take out the helicopters in that section there. There's another Navy yard coming out here. I think they can see what's happening over there. Although the transport boat must have been taken out, I think, unless I just simply can't see it. Cruisers are firing in. That's quite a cool line there. Just artillery fire on the ground of the commandos. It looks like Atfinity has tried to break the defences over here, pushing in through one main location, but coming in like this, you've got all of these units coming around this way instead. And if I was Evilobster, I'd have these on orange commands for now, just as we're not sure whether we want to dig in or push forward. Now we got some units taking advantage of that, but then they will die pretty quickly. Over on this section, they are both back into the situation of defending. There we go. These guys are just going to push in through the sides now. This is going to trap them in some sort of pincer moves, like, sort of. The infantry are literally rushing into this section right now, so it's going to end up just trying to hit them from the side as they take on the structures from the other. Just making sure nothing else is going on. Did those commandos survive? One did, and he's over there on his own. I think he's not going to be able to take that territory. Cruisers are still roaming, grabbing back the territories they lost. And the bombers are coming in, trying to do as much damage as they can. The SAM are just slightly out of range over here. But those bombers are not very good at actually taking out units on the ground. They're better at structures, which is unfortunate. But they're doing what they can. I'm assuming that Atfinity is a bit distracted elsewhere. We do have the transport boat sneaking in through the north over here, trying to get this town. And I think the boat is trying to take it out on its own. It's been caught up in the strike command on accident, as the boats are trying to drop units off, so transport boats must be selected on that command there. Over in this section, Evilobster's units weren't able to push in from the side, and unfortunately have pretty much lost all their defences in the northern part of their section. And now the same's happening on the on the left-hand side of this. I did not even see that there was a rocket in the game, and they pushed right into the rocket's blast. Now both players are, relatively speaking, without their defence, or for that matter, the offence. But we do have some aircraft still dotted around. Some units are laid back there. And Evilobster's cruisers are going around doing as much damage as they can. Some of the units actually took out a town over here, and this one looks like it's going to go down as well. That'll take out the docks too. The commandos are just rushing in now, but there's too much going on. The town does go down, the industry as well. Everything's been taken out up there that was of most of the importance. But now that these guys have been moved down, these boats might even transport this way instead. It's easy to say that as it's me, I can see everything. Evilobster can't necessarily see everything with fog of war going on. They're bringing their navy to the south, potentially to address this over here and then go for that energy well once again. The helicopters have finally made their way onto the field. I don't know if that's their first attack, but if it was, that must be another pain in the butt for Evilobster. But these bombers are going to be used to try and take out the units on the ground again. They do take out the SAM units, or at least some of them. There's quite a few coming in now, and I don't think those bombers are going to be able to handle that. There's quite a few going down really quick. One's returning home straight away, the other one's about to get shot down. The helicopters are moving in and taking out Evilobster's structures on this side as well. But we do have a city over here. He's not out of the game yet, and he's got more plans underway. I can imagine he's going to go for some transport boats. He's going to start trying to take over this land. Not boats, some transport jets maybe. But unfortunately, I think Evilobster's going to have to retreat into at least this location. Should be fairly easy to defend because of the mountains and the wider choke point for him. Up in the north, we've got those boats still trying to transport units across, but there's just not any more to bring it over. There we go, we've got some factories being built just in front of the city, right at the edge of this choke point. And they're going to be trying to fill that up, I think. The Navy yards are still producing as much as they can, while they can. But the helicopters have discovered them, and they are probably going to be taking out those structures now. That rocket's ready to fire again, so if Evilobster could get enough energy, which he does have, I think that's finished. It certainly looks it. They could actually fire once again. There we go, we've got some more bombers over here. They're going to be able to actually reach this energy well, I think. I did find a little glitch that actually allows you to get some extra range. I was told not to tell anyone until after the tournament. Let me know if you want to know, and I'll see if it's okay. I'm going to have to put it in the report a bug section on Discord, which I had forgotten, and I missed the rocket. I didn't see it. Where'd that one go? That one went over here. Potentially taking out his own structures, but at least waiting until there was a lot of units there to shoot down as well. The defences are just not building up fast enough for Evilobster. He is just constantly getting pushed back. And that rocket silo is still standing. But he must have turned the production for the rocket off because he's got enough money, so it should have started producing again. I think he's just leaving it there to be targeted and distract the helicopters for a while. There we go, we've got some transport jets along with those bombers. And we do have some commandos on the ground over on this section here, so it looks like Evilobster's planning to take over some of this section, taking away some of the land from Atfinity, while Atfinity is distracted holding on the offense against Evilobster's main line. There we go, he switched out the defensive line there into the orange lines, or the orange dot commands, and that way all the units are just going to try and move into this section here. He's getting some defense here, just a small line. But unfortunately that did mean the last one just died without actually attacking, so I don't know how effective these smaller defensive lines are going to be. And even if he can hold this off, there's some more units coming in from that section over there. I don't think Evilobster's really investing much over there. He's just trying to keep up with the economy losses he's getting here, so he's just trying to capture the territories until that becomes easier for him. He's also caught this island up here. Didn't actually see that. I thought Affinity cleared him off on this section. But Atfinity has definitely managed to control this main island. I don't know if Evilobster's going to be able to handle it for long. It's going to be easier to just hold him off at choke points like this and just be annoying as hell. But they're going to lose both of the energy wells, and Evilobster has two more over here, so they should be okay for a while. But they will soon have this entire island to themselves. Atfinity is aware that they've lost ground on their sections as well. I'm going to have a look at their economy at this point, because it's actually quite interesting. Affinity is trying to keep up and rebuild some of their economy on the main island now. But Evilobster's on 970, while Affinity is on 1,400. It's not really too much of a surprise that Affinity is able to push through like this with the economy bonus that they've actually got here. But Evilobster's going to lose a lot of that economy when this city goes down and those industries there. And we still have some units in the back over here that could be pushed into the front line, but I think they're keeping them here just in case transports come back through this section. There's a bit of a naval engagement up in the north over here, mostly through submarines trying to take them out. We've got some helicopters coming in to try and do the finishing blow on those guys. But Evilobster's doing a great job at trying to stay in this game. Not making it easy for Affinity to just take a win there. And as these units are just moving through over here, they are going to be destroying the city, and then they're going to have to take this long road down this way over to these airfields, potentially taking them out. But these areas could be quite easy to take on when you've got the cruisers and a lot of anti-air units. You'd need some missile ships because they are getting taken down pretty fast by the swarm of helicopters that Affinity has. And only one cruiser makes it through by the looks of it. But there are some helicopters over here, probably left over. I remember seeing some earlier. Yeah, there's quite a few there. So I don't think that cruiser's actually going to get much done there. So I would hope that Atfinity would build stuff over here, but unfortunately they just can't. They can't handle the economy on that. Maybe if they turned off more production, but I'm not sure if it's actually the production they've turned off or whether it's just that they can't afford it. I think this would be a lot lower if it was the case, so I think they have actually tried turning stuff off. I can see some Navy units on the move. Did they actually clear out this section? They did. So now it seems that the majority of the Navy is building up in Affinity's control over there. Most of the time that Evilobster uses any Navy, it's the helicopters that sort of snipe them before they can build up in any sort of significant numbers. But Affinity has such a large army on the main island, they've just got to wait until they can push through with the transport boats, I think. Unless Evilobster can really pull something out. We do have those bombers coming in straight into Sam though, and they're going to get taken down pretty quickly. They are not going to handle that very well. And they were pretty good fireworks. As you can see, these units are just passing through. Very well organised there. Atfinity is seriously struggling on energy. They do have 2 more energy wells if they need it. They just can't afford it. And I think at this point, because of the amount of ground units you actually have, it might just be worth turning off all production on ground units, sorting out the energy, and then resorting out some eco maybe, because you have full control on land. And you've got good control in the ocean. There isn't really much else you need to do. So just turn off all production and sort of build up all your cities again. Because they're quite safe on this island, apart from the bombers, but you've got enough sand. All of this group of artillery have come here without any anti-air support. So for now, unfortunately, these bombers are actually going to take out a lot of Affinity's units there. Well, they're going to pretty much get in damage for free. The helicopters are moving in, and as we saw earlier, they can provide some anti-air, even against these units. But there is only 5, so I don't know how many that'll actually affect. Just checking on what that Navy might have been doing. There we go, the bombers have come back in just as the helicopters land, and now the helicopters are moving back in. Potentially taking one out, maybe? But it's not too much about what's in the air either, it's about taking out what's on the ground so we can push through and take out those airfields. But I think this is too small of a force to actually break through in this section, especially with the support that Evilobster is keeping for himself. And here we go, we got Atfinity coming in for another invasion on this section of the map. Just as Evilobster's about to actually capture the rest of it. So Evilobster's actually not really having much of a break here, especially not in the south. But I think eventually they'll earn it in the south. Maybe they can push it back through. We've got the Navy coming through the centre here. There's a lot of artillery, so they're going to have a hard job getting through this section without being noticed or without taking much damage. So, they did clear out this section in the bottom of the map. And now I'm pretty sure Atfinity has a really strong advantage, especially when it comes to the reinforcements here. I would put money on them, but I'm not sure if Evilobster, how much chance they have of actually winning this. But they are doing a really good job at trying their best. They did take out the industry. They're getting that first territory, but they are stopped with Evilobster's infantry there. And there's probably a bit too much infantry here to try and hold that, but they do have a lot of reinforcements coming in, and they will overwhelm them. The helicopters are moving in as well, and there's quite a few of those. And those units on the ground are not going to last long from these helicopters. Not even the SAM. I think the SAM are going to get torn up pretty quickly with the amount of helicopters coming in. But it looks like Atfinity is not willing to risk the engagement with the helicopters, so he's pulled those guys back. Navy's pushing through. There's a few units there that are going to have to worry about those. Quite a few anti-air in the water as well, so those bombers aren't going to last too long. Navy's having a bit of a scrap in the centre there. But unfortunately, the missile boats just are no match for the cruisers that are mixed into that section, or the submarines. It's just a bad matchup on this section here, but we do have strikers. Where are they coming from? Over this section. A group of 2 strikers are moving in towards this over here. I think they've been pulled back. Yeah, okay. So they're not moving in on this section over here. And they've decided to pull back instead. Atfinity is building up a lot of eco at this point. I think they did turn off their production, or most of it, and I think they're planning to build up some more eco and get their infrastructure back up and running. But as it stands, Evilobster does have those islands on the left and some of this section on the bottom, and it looks like it's moving in as well. So it's got a group of artillery moving in through this section here. Just seeing what they can grab for now. We have a rocket silo there, which is actually not a bad place to put it. That can cover all 3 of the islands that are threatening him. Mainly this one where the bombers are. And it looks like this section is not going to hold up too much longer. There's quite a few units coming in. And they're slowly building up in this section here. Slowly but surely. And I think Atfinity is just trying to build up some units there, but I don't think any other lines lead to it anymore. So there may be units that have been forgotten about right now. And we do have a sufficient amount of units over in this section, and these buildings are about to come under threat by 2 cruisers coming in with missile ships protecting them. And I think 3 of these structures here are vulnerable to these cruisers. Definitely the industry there. More units coming in now just as reinforcements, and I think that'll be enough to try to start capturing this ground here. Some artillery being left behind on this section here. I assume some of these want to be there for defense, but there's a few left over. Trying to see what else Evilobster might be doing. He's found a town there he's just took out. And if Atfinity is not careful, he's going to lose another town there. They can't really bring up the helicopters. They could, but they're going to take out a few damages there. And the SAM here just taking on those strikers as they come out. But they are likely to take out these this energy well over here. That's one down. If they can take down the other, I don't know what else he has. There's one over here. There isn't any over on the other side, so that side of the map is pretty energy drained. And the helicopters move in now against these missile boats, and the town here may be saved if those helicopters can take out the cruiser. But they are going to focus on the SAM units there to save themselves. But they've run out of missiles, so now that town's going to go down. And the transport boats are picking up units from this side now, bringing in some extras from there. So we have 2 points where the infantry, the units are being picked up from. But once again, we have the rocket silo here, but the income is becoming a problem now. I think he's picked up on the production and is now struggling once again to get that rocket going. The bombers are moving straight in over this section again, and they are slowly falling down, but some SAM units have gone from this section, so maybe one will return home this time. Just. Literally just. One last unit's there. I've always preferred strikers over those bombers. I do understand the big difference on their purpose, but for the most part, most people use them the same way, but I just find that strikers are a bit more adaptable. They can take out structures more specifically, you can target them, get in and out, and with the ground units you want them to linger around there. But it's rarely you want the bombers to linger around structures. And if you do, you can still do that with strikers. So I find that strikers are sort of like the best multi-purpose unit. Evilobster does hold off the ground on this side. However, he's going to have a bit of trouble dealing with this side now, but he does have a good few units in this section, so he should actually be okay holding them off. He's got a few helicopters and that'll work out well. Any helicopters that come to support, there are good SAM units around. And he doesn't even need too much units on the ground. And there are so many strikers over there as well, like swarming around this section. After getting some sight in there, it might have been wise for him to take on these airfields there. There we go. Which player just lost? Did that show Atfinity lost? That surprises me. I'm not sure he meant to do that. I think that was more... I didn't have my headphones in at that moment in time because they fell out. But I think maybe he just disconnected at the end there. Let me know what you think. I think that Atfinity was doing a very good job there. I think that he could have won that, but I'm not sure. Maybe he saw something I didn't. Maybe Evilobster was doing a bit better than I thought. But even when it comes to the economy, we can see that Atfinity pretty much had equal or just above the same as Evilobster. This is where he was getting the trade routes out, and this is probably where he lost that trade route. Moving up along here, this is where they were sort of like building their defences against each other, setting up some borders. Then Atfinity made his push through and was progressing with their own economy. Anyway, let me know what you thought of that battle. Thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe and check out the 2 videos on screen right now. Once you go through one of those, I will see you there. Thank you for watching, and yeah.